Why did I create Nominous Animation? Well, originally I created it as a way to create content and eventually, well, monetize that content. I mean, creative content, animation specifically. Um, I started a campaign to make World Destroyer, as I talked in the other videos, and well, that campaign ended up not being successful in terms of getting funding to make the animated feature film that I wanted, but it ended up getting me a position working in the industry. So, and that led to more jobs. And as I got more jobs working in animation, I didn't have a reason to keep Nominous. Well, I did keep it, but and I forgot to mention I opened it up as an LLC, so it is a company. And because I was intending to use it to monetize art, I was already getting a lot of good paying jobs, so I didn't really utilize it, but I kept it because in the industry and working in animation, oftentimes you're working on very uncreative, unfulfilling like projects that are just, there's too many people in the kitchen. It's all mucked up. The producers override any creativity anyone at the top has, or maybe just like oftentimes useless narcissists tend to weasel their way up at the top positions, end up directors or showrunners, and they have terrible ideas, and nobody likes them, and none of the artists like them. Or there's a bunch of lame writers who got their jobs because of their friends, and you have to listen to what they say, and just the whole thing's a complete mess, and it's a terrible, horrible experience to have to like exist in, and you end up having absolutely no creative expression or freedom for yourself. So ultimately what I wanted to do was hold on to my LLC and eventually like make it make something that can be self-sustaining. Hopefully, and the reason to be self-sustaining to make money is so that I can keep making it. And that's a dream that many people in the industry have. Not, by the way, I worked on some projects, and I'm not just saying this to cover my butt, that are creatively fulfilling. They just don't come as often. And maybe for some people they do. Maybe some people are getting on projects they like a lot, and it's very fulfilling to them, or they're in a position that they like, and there's nothing wrong with that. I wasn't, and I know a lot of people that aren't, often lamenting why they even chose to become an artist or try to get into the industry. And a lot of times it's because they don't even take the time outside of their own job to create their own art. And sometimes people are fine just doing their own art on their own, and that's okay too. But for the reason of having Nominous Animation, ultimately, I want to create something that makes money so I can use that money to keep making the thing. Is this going to work out? Who knows? A lot of people fail trying to do this, but that's why I want to do it. So as I release my next short film, it's going to correspond with a book, and hopefully sell some merch. And if I can supplement the income of what I already have, I could probably just keep that snowball rolling into a bigger snowball. To me, and I mentioned this before, the most exciting thing right now is the indie animation scene. Even working in the animation industry with the union and making all that money, it just looks so much sexier, seeing these independent artists do it on their own. I mean, that's what I intended to do when I started off, but it wasn't sustainable since it didn't work right off the bat, and I got offered some moolah to work on TV productions. So, and I have no shame in that. Like, I need to make money. I had a kid, and yeah, if I could find some proprietor, what's it called, a patron that would help me do do the art, the animation, the cartoons, and then eventually I can get started. AKA, some of you are really young, you can live in your parents' basement. Like, that's not a bad choice to do that to start off. I mean, a lot of people are being supported while they go to school, so I don't think that's shameful to try to do something like that to get your project going. For me, I didn't have that option at that point in my life, and so I needed to make money. And right now, I'm kind of doing the extra art in the time between, when there's spaces between when you're not working or taking care of your kids or cleaning or whatever. I try to get the art done. Those quite, last 2 hours of the night when everyone's asleep. Scrape a little, still a little asleep for myself even. Yeah. So, anyways, that's what I'm gonna use Nominous for. That's why I created it originally. And I hope I can join the pantheon of awesome content creators making sweet animation out there. I will definitely release something soon. Can I be consistent or continue? Time will only tell.